Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here on our YouTube channel about the wisdom of Kabbalah. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to go over the 3 semesters of free lectures we have on the channel. And if you like the wisdom of Kabbalah, you can always go to Kabbalah.info and join like-minded people from around the world at the KBU Academy. We have a Congress coming up in just over 10 days. And we're going to carry on with some Shamati articles to prepare ourselves for the Congress. So we're on Shamati number 4 today. What is the reason for the heaviness one feels when annulling before the Creator in the work? As usual, if you have any queries, questions, feel free to ask them as you always do, and we'll try to find answers together as we study. All right, so once again, Shamati from Baal HaSulam, article number 4. What is the reason for the heaviness one feels when annulling before the Creator in the work? We must know the reason for the heaviness one feels when he wants to work in annulling himself before the Creator and not worry about his own benefit. A person comes to a state as though the entire world stands still, and he alone is now seemingly absent from this world, and leaves his family and friends for the sake of annulling before the Creator. But there is a simple reason for this called lack of faith. It means that one does not see before whom he nullifies, meaning he does not feel the existence of the Creator, and this causes him heaviness. But when he begins to feel the existence of the Creator, his soul immediately yearns to annul and connect with the root, to be contained in it like a candle in a torch, without any mind or reason. However, this comes naturally as a candle is cancelled before a torch. It therefore follows that the essence of one's work is only to come to feel the existence of the Creator. Meaning to feel the existence of the Creator, that the whole earth is full of His glory, and this will be one's entire work. That is, all the energy one puts into the work will be only to achieve this and nothing else. One should not be misled into having to acquire anything. Rather, there's only one thing a person needs: faith in the Creator. He should not think of anything, meaning that the only reward that he wants for his work should be to be rewarded with faith in the Creator. We must know that there is no difference between a small illumination or a great illumination that a person obtains, since there are no changes in the light. Rather, all the changes are in the kelim, the vessels, that receive the abundance. As it is written, I, the Lord, did not change. Hence, if one can magnify one's kelim to that extent that he magnifies the illumination, yet the question is, with what can one magnify one's vessels? The answer is that to the extent to which he praises and thanks the Creator for having brought him closer to him, so he would feel him a little and think of the importance of the matter, meaning that he was rewarded with having some connection with the Creator. To the extent of the importance that one pictures for oneself, so the illumination grows in him. One must know that he will never come to know the true measure of the importance of the connection between man and the Creator, because one cannot assess its true value. Instead, as much as one appreciates it, so he attains its merit and importance. There is a segula in this, since by this he can be rewarded with this illumination staying permanently within him. Right, yeah, any questions? No questions? All right, well, let's go over it again and we'll just go one by one. Okay. Once again, Shamati number 4, what is the reason for the heaviness one feels when annulling before the Creator in the work? We must know the reason for the heaviness one feels when he wants to work in annulling his self before the Creator and not worry about his own benefit. A person comes to a state as though the entire world stands still and he alone is not seemingly absent, is now seemingly absent from this world, and leaves his family and friends for the sake of annulling before the Creator. There is but a simple reason for this, called the lack of faith. It means that one does not see before him who nullifies, meaning he does not feel the existence of the Creator, and this causes him heaviness. Okay, so there's a reason for the heaviness that we all feel. First of all, we want to advance in bestowal, and bestowal is against our nature. So if it's against our nature, nullifying ourselves is just time after time after time after time starts to become heavy. Okay. And the whole idea with this is, as he works more and more, he really does feel like he's alone. Even though he's got family, friends, but he just doesn't feel like it. He feels like really alone. It's like he can't think of anyone. So he becomes heavy in the work, because the more he's annulling all the time, it becomes harder and harder and harder. And so what can you do? The reason for it is lack of faith. Faith in the wisdom of Kabbalah means connection with the Creator. If I don't have a connection with the Creator, all the time the process of me nullifying again and again and again is just going to cause more and more heaviness. But when he begins to feel the existence of the Creator, his soul immediately yearns to annul and connect with the root, to be contained in it like a candle in a torch without any mind or reason. However, this comes naturally as a candle is cancelled before a torch. So if a person is to attain the attribute of bestowal, then he can feel the existence of the Creator. Without the attribute of bestowal, it's not possible to feel the Creator. And if I don't feel the Creator, the work will always have these heavy periods all the time. Sometimes a person gets a feeling of elevation, which is true, but generally what happens is as we nullify more and more and more, we feel heavy and heavy. All right. So it's just natural on the path. But when he begins to feel the existence of the Creator, his soul immediately yearns to annul. Because if he feels the Creator, there's nothing to talk about. If the vessel is now receiving light, I've got pleasure. If there's pleasure, I've got energy. I've got motivation. I've got drive. I can push through. It therefore follows that the essence of one's work is only to come to feel the existence of the Creator. This is why the most important thing for all of us is to, as fast as we can, come to the first feeling of the existence of the Creator. This first feeling, how, the faster we can get that done, the better. Obviously, it doesn't always happen fast, but once a person has a connection, then that connection remains. It's never lost. Meaning to feel the existence of the Creator, that the whole earth is full of His glory, and this will be one's entire work. So in this case, a person must definitely always focus on this connection. But once he's connected, that's it. A person begins to then feel reality from the perspective of the Creator. So he doesn't have, well, he still has problems, but they're not the problem that he had when he was under concealment. Okay, it's two different things. You always have problems. Till the end of the road, you're going to have problems. Okay, so there's no getting over that. But the concept of the problem is different. One is from the perspective of the desire to receive. And because it's from the perspective of the desire to receive, you feel heavy because you're not getting any fulfillment. In spiritual work, you also have an increase in your desire to receive, which also brings you heaviness. But the heaviness you feel then is a different kind of heaviness. That is, all the energy one puts into the work will be only to achieve this and nothing else. So the intention and the purpose of the work must be only and only to come to connection with the Creator. Right? There is no other intention for the work that we're doing. One should not be misled into having to acquire anything. Rather, there's only one thing a person needs: faith in the Creator. And faith, as you know, is the attribute of bestowal. Okay, if I can bestow like the Creator, it means I have faith. If I can't, I've got no faith. Rather, there's only one thing a person needs: faith in the Creator. He should not think of anything, meaning that the only reward that he wants for his work should be to be rewarded with faith in the Creator. So the only reward we're looking for is faith, which is the attribute of bestowal. We must know that there is no difference between a small illumination or a great illumination. that receive the abundance, as it is written, I, the Lord, did not change. Hence, if one can magnify one's vessels, to that extent, he magnifies the illumination. One would normally think with common sense that there is difference. Just bear with me. Sorry about that. One would feel that there is difference in illumination due to the size of the vessels. Okay. However, why does he say there is no difference between a small illumination or a great illumination that a person obtains, since there are no changes in the light? Rather, all the changes are in the vessel. So the light doesn't change. The light meaning the attribute of the Creator, how the Creator is always approaching a person with love and bestowal. Okay, that doesn't change. What the person feels according to his vessels is the change in the abundance. Okay, so only the person's changing here. That's what he's trying to say. How is the vessel going to change? How can I get more abundance in the vessel? I can grow the vessel. If I can grow my vessel, my desire to receive, then obviously I got more light. So the light doesn't change. The light is always there. But the vessel needs to grow, just like kids need to grow. Okay, we grow, we have more desires, don't we? So that's the same thing. If I grow more with my desires, I also have a bigger understanding, a better understanding of the world as I grow up. So same with the Creator as well. The bigger the vessel, the bigger the desire, the more the light I can get if the desire is clothed with the attribute of bestowal. This is why the Creator does not change, but only the person changes. Now then, yet the question is, with what can one magnify one's vessels? The answer is that to the extent to which he praises and thanks the Creator for having brought him closer to him, so he would feel him a little and think of the importance of the matter, meaning that he was rewarded with having some connection with the Creator. To the extent of the importance that one pictures for himself, so the illumination grows in him. One must know that he will never come to know the true measure of the importance of the connection between man and the Creator, because one cannot assess its true value. So here again, what we have to understand is, until we reach complete adhesion with the Creator, we never know the importance, just like children don't know the importance of many things. Okay, we only realize the importance of life, its purpose, and so on as we grow up. Instead, as much as one appreciates it, so he attains its merit and importance. So the way to grow the vessel is to increase the appreciation I have for the path. The more I appreciate the path, the more I value the purpose of life, then I can have bigger vessels. We need bigger vessels. There's a remedy in this, since by this he can be rewarded with this elimination, staying permanently within him. So if I got bigger vessels, then obviously I got more light. Why is the remedy? Because the remedy means that I'm fixing myself from egoism to bestowal. Okay, that's what remedy is. Remedy is me getting cured. All right, so what do I need to cure? My egoistic nature, and to bring it to an altruistic nature. The more altruistic I am in those bigger vessels, as I grow more in spirituality, then I can get more light into the vessels. Why? Because I can bestow more. The more I bestow, the more light I get. So the desire to receive has to increase. On top of that, bestowal has to increase. Then I can get more light. So the biggest problem for all of us on the path, what is the biggest problem for us on the path, is to increase, or to in fact find inside ourselves the need for spirituality. So who really needs it? Okay, because we don't feel like we need it. Right? It's not a need in us. So we have to work on that need. Okay, any questions? There is. Okay, let's check it out. Bear with me. Off-topic question from Ertuğrul Han. How to come to the feeling that there is none else besides him in the group meals? You can't come to that feeling until you get spiritual. Until a person attains a higher reality, you're always going to be in a contradiction. So there is none else besides him is a principle, but it's not a principle you can apply at the moment. Ingrid's asking, how does one reach revelation of the Creator? That's a nice question. We need to build, like he says in the article, we need to have a vessel. We need to have importance of the connection with the Creator. And if my whole life is just about that, then I can receive illumination. This is exactly what the article is saying. Okay, so we have to understand that without a need, a real need, the Creator cannot give us a revelation. Okay, this is why growing the vessels of bestowal, to want to bestow. Okay, even though we can't want to bestow, think about the contradiction here. We're desired to receive. We can't want to bestow. Okay, but from the situation that we're in, we can come to a need to change. All right, so we come to a need to change and a need for help. Accordingly, we can do something. So other than that, hard to say. And what is person lacking if one hasn't reached it? Not yet, even though one has invested. What is a person lacking is also a good question. I guess we're lacking the need. The light is always there. Look, in the article, he also says the Creator doesn't change, but only the vessels change. Right? Where is it? Look, one should not be misled into having to acquire anything. Rather, there's only one thing a person needs: faith in the Creator. So we need to come to a need for faith in the Creator. He should not think of anything meaning that the only reward that he wants for his work should be to be rewarded with faith in the Creator. That's the only reason we're doing the work. We must know that there is no difference between a small illumination or a great illumination that a person obtains, since there are no changes in the light. Rather, all the changes are in the vessels that receive the abundance. As it's written, I, the Lord, did not change. Hence, if one can magnify one's vessels, to that extent he magnifies the illumination. All right, so he's asking here as well, yet the question is, with what can one magnify one's vessels? The answer is that to the extent to which he praises and thanks the Creator for having brought him closer to him, so he would feel him a little and think of the importance of the matter, meaning that he was rewarded with having some connection with the Creator. So all of us, what do we have to do? We have to, first of all, feel grateful that the dot in the heart has awakened, and we have at least some thought about the meaning of life, because not a lot of people have a thought about the meaning of life, do they? Look outside, who's thinking about the meaning of life? Everybody's meaning of life is their own desire to receive. What is it, like money? What desires do we have, right? Food, sex, money, honor, knowledge. That's it. That's total life. And who's really thinking about the Creator? Only we are, because if if the dot in the heart has awakened in a person and we're working on it, then yeah. So that we should be grateful for. Now that's a starting point. So if I start with that point in mind and grow it, then we've got something to talk about. Yeet is asking, once I have a good, strong bond and strong relationship with my group, I feel like my life is getting smoother. That's true. That doesn't mean that I have some dramas at work or family as such. Question is the right is it the right way to check myself to keep my relationship with friends in a higher level as much as I can in order to stay between two lines? You should always work to have a good connection with the friends, but this doesn't mean you won't get a bad day. Okay? You'll have a bad day too. You'll have a good day too. It doesn't matter what day you have. Good day, bad day, you keep a good connection. Okay? So we don't really know what's coming to us, but we should always keep a good connection, because if I have a good connection, then whatever I get is for the purpose. If you have a good day, it might be a bad thing, because with good things, I've seen many people go off track. Okay, so you never know. So what might, be good for me right now in my head may be completely different ball game. Vince is asking, that's a good way to inspire. What's a good way to inspire the need to your group? If I invest in the friends, in the connection, then I will feel like I need them. I will feel like they're valuable. And if I give them value and importance, it's the same thing as giving importance to the Creator, because I'm giving importance to the love of others. So a person's investment in the group, his efforts towards the connection, is really, really important, because in that way he can begin to feel closer and closer to the friends, and eventually he'll feel like he can't leave them. He'll feel like he's got a connection to them, a strong connection, a good bond. Eda is asking, we hear that intentions, not actions, are important in spirituality. So what can magnify the need for spirituality? Does it help to see that my intentions are corrupt? What can magnify the need for spirituality is the same thing I answered Vince. The more I bestow to the group, the more I'll have a need, because the more I will see resistance in me. So the more I bestow, the more resistance I will have. The more resistance I will have, the more need for the Creator I will have. It's common sense, right? Okay. Does it help to see that my intentions are corrupt? Absolutely. You should always see that you have bad intentions. If you don't see you've got bad intentions, how are you going to correct them? Okay? Because a person is bad, completely bad, 100%. All right? So a person needs to really see the evil in order to want to change it. Honor is asking, how can I feel connected to the Creator until I reveal the Creator? If you feel connected to the friends, and if the goal is important in your eyes, then you feel like in that connection, you're connected to the Creator. In any case, in spirituality too, through the friends, you feel connected to the Creator. Marit is asking, is it normal that when I try to act altruistically, my actions feel fake? Of course. That's fine though. In any case, you must try to bestow. We want to see we can't do it. Okay? We want to try as best we can all the time, constantly trying, and we're failing. We want to see that. If you see it, you'll have a need for the Creator. If you don't see it, you don't have a need for the Creator. If you could succeed in everything, you'd never need the Creator. So failing is important. And failing is not Buddha's fault. Failing means that it's impossible in my nature to bestow. So we're not really failing. We're just coming to see the truth. And the truth is that we can't bestow. And if I see that, understand that, feel that, then I can have a need for the Creator. All right. Is that it with the questions? Okay. Looks like there's more. Ingrid's asking, how to overcome the feeling of not having energy and lack of renewal in corporeal life and also in the group. Whoa, that's a problem for us all, isn't it? It's a problem for us all. The only way to do that is by connecting with others around me, because the surrounding can give you motivation. If you're in a team, right, your teammates can lift you up. They can give you the motivation, the drive to get up and run and do the things we need to do in that team, right? So same in the group. So this group work is really important, and I've got to really work against my nature here, because also a person doesn't want to really go and stick his head into the group all the time. We like to run away from that, but some things you have to do against your desire. We do that in real life as well. Like we go to work against our desire. And not a lot of people love to work. So we have to go against our desire to receive, stick our head into the group and move forward, do stuff. Okay. The more you do, the stronger you get. And then you begin to work above the feeling. Okay. So over time, it won't matter that, whether you're feeling good or bad, energetic or no, you'll just flow with it. That's when your nature becomes accustomed to the work. It's not a bad thing. Being from the animate level accustomed to the work is good. Then you can always think about why you're doing it. So your head can be with the intention, while your body is in the process of connecting with others on a corporeal level. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's it. All right. So what we'll do is we'll call it a night. Okay. We've finished the article as well. The important thing to remember with this is a person, until he discovers the Creator and the attribute of bestowal, doesn't have the strength to go against his desire. And this is why we feel heavy in the work. The way to overcome it is to increase our desire for spirituality. The way to do that is through the environment. All right, and that's how it works basically. All right, in the interim, have a good one. Hopefully we'll see you guys next Tuesday, and then we have a Congress anyway, right? So that's how it is. Have a good night. Bye-bye.